Hi, Hal here with more Space Engineers, and just enjoying the view out the window. Oh, we've gotten a lot to do, we've got a lot done, and we have a few things to talk about. We've got some new mods running, and we're going to talk about those. But first, we have to get started, so let's go. So happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully you are having a fantastic Friday and had a terrific week thus far. Oh, the weekend's here. The weekend's here. Oh, so let's talk about what we've got going on. Alright, so I've gone ahead and installed RDAV's Fleet Command Mark II. Link for it will be down in the description. Now, I ran into a problem with it. So the script works fine, right? Like everything works the way it's supposed to work. This is a good thing. The problem is that it works the way that it's supposed to work. So the base is set up as our command center, right? So you have to, there's two programmable blocks and an antenna that you have to have on the base. All of it's named. You can either if you're in creative mode, you can cut and paste the things in, or you can put them on a projector and build them out. All right, so what I did is I ended up putting them on a projector, turned off Bob's, and built out just what I needed to in order to get everything into the game, right? Alright, so there's actually two pieces. So you have the command piece here, which, like I said, this entails two blocks, two programmable blocks. One of them is the command center code, the other one is the user interface code. When combined with an LCD, it can be a transparent LCD, it can be one of the slopes, it can be a regular LCD, it doesn't matter. What you need to do is if you're building this manually without using cut and paste from RDAV stuff or using a projector to build it, you need to change a few names, right? So for the panel, you have to name it RFC panel, all capital. This naming is very important in this. So you need to rename the panel to the RFC panel, and then in custom data, you use the word true. Basically, you're telling it, yes, this is the panel you want to be using. And that will configure everything you need for the LCD. And then when you have the remote block for the command center, let's bring this up really quick. So it's going to be RFCRC. So you will actually end up with a remote control block on your ship or station. So far, everything worked right, pretty straightforward. Now the catch is, let's remote control this thing. So we have remote controlled it. Now, as you can see, we actually have a mouse pointer. You see the little arrow looking thing there? That's being controlled by my actual mouse. Now, in order to left click, you press and hold Q to give you a selection box or to select something specifically. And then we can tell, whatever we selected to go to a certain point. Now, the problem that we run into is that the base is also configured as a carrier. So let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get this to work. We have to run ourselves all the way back out and over into this hangar. We'll close the door, open this door. Alright, and So as you can see, none of the drones are doing anything. So what I did is I've configured this stuff the way it's supposed to be, and I think what I need to do, since we have nothing moving that way, let's head back this way. Now the other mod that I've installed is the, what's it called? Life Needs, I think? Daily Needs Survival, which includes a bunch of blocks, and we're going to talk about those in a moment. I've actually built a few of them out in that big hangar, just to play around with them. And if we go here, we're going to activate this. And so, yeah, there should be an icon that shows up down in this bottom corner, and that icon is supposed to tell you how many ships are docked. And so what we need is a ship setup or a grid setup in the network that's designated a carrier space, and that's the problem that I'm running into. So it may be possible to have the same ship considered, or the same grid considered, the central command as well as the carrier, but I haven't figured out how to make that work. And we're now at 1 a.m. I've been working on this for about 4 hours. so I am going to call it quits on that for right now, temporarily. I'll work on it more this weekend. See if I can get it working. Worst case scenario, then we'll set it up manually, where we'll just set the bots so that they go out and patrol for us. It's been fairly quiet in the sector, and I'm not going to complain too much about that. We've had a couple of war bosses spawn, well, the waypoints for them spawn, but nothing has actually spawned in. Nothing hostile has spawned in. Now, having said that, I am completely expecting a shooter boat to show up or something, basically to come wreck my face. Alright. So for these guys, what we did is the drone that we built on Wednesday, I took one block out and we put in the programmable block. And then what you want to do in here is, because you need an antenna, you need a gyro, and you need, what was the other one? Gyro, remote control block, and an antenna. Now for the antenna, it does not need to be renamed, but in the, let me see here, we'll grab, oh, it renamed it already. Okay, so see if we can find one of the antennas here. There you go. So in the custom data, what you'll do is you'll use RFC_ant if you set these up manually. So if you don't want to use the modules as they are defined in the blueprint, you can cut and paste the stuff over, or you can go in and manually configure the elements that you need. So like I said, you'll need the antenna, you'll need a programmable block, and you'll need the remote control, and then a gyro, obviously, and you just name them appropriately. So we've gotten the system, everything in the system's working. Like I said, the only thing that we're running into is that we can't designate the base as a carrier, as well as the the central command. So it may be because of the fact that it's a base. It may be because of the fact that I'm trying to use both of them on the same grid. I don't know. So if you have any suggestions, throw them down. Like if you know how to fix the problem, definitely shoot me a note and let me know, because I'd love to get this working. Everything else is configured. So if RDAV sees this, yes, I did go through and make sure we relocated or copied everything from the modules that you created all of the programmable blocks, or all the relevant programmable blocks, and all of the custom data and everything, all of that's been transferred successfully. Everything seems to be running, but for some reason that one aspect won't work, and I think it's because I'm trying to use carriers and central command on the same grid. So anyway, that said, let's talk about those new status bars we have in the top left corner. So we now have hunger, food, and tiredness. Well, fatigue, I guess would be a better way of saying it. These are things that we now have to manage in game, and this particular version of, the daily needs survival mod, this thing is actually a little bit better than what the old survival mods were like. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there has always, well, I shouldn't say always, there has been a history of mods that add in things like food and water necessities for the survival aspects. And the daily needs survival actually builds on the old system, but did it in such a way as that they balance the rate of consumption, which is really nice. But they also went a step above and actually had new blocks created. And the blocks are animated. Well, most of the blocks are animated. So you have the water recycler, which will take gray water, aka waste, and process it into clean water. And then you also have the food resequencer, which will take all sorts of stuff, and it's an active production block. So you can have, which we're doing right now, is the synth food. So it's basically organic waste, gravel, and drinking water packets. So with just the two blocks here, we can actually meet our food and water needs. In order to make the water, you either need to have ice, which will process into drinkable water. Actually, it will process into drinkable water and organics. You can then take those two things with a little bit of gravel and make food. Now, if you have spiders and wolves turned on, you can actually, this mod will replace their loot table, or maybe it just appends it, I don't remember now. But basically it will add relevant food drop types to the animals. This is important because of the fact that a lot of people don't play with these turned on because there's no point in them, or they don't like the fact that they generally drop building materials. They don't drop, if I remember correctly, with this mod active, they won't drop building materials, but they will drop meat, and I think the spiders drop eggs. And then the other thing is that if you have this mod active and you have the unknown signals turned on, you can actually get food, you can get the dressings and things, but you also get seeds. And you can use the seeds in crop growers, and you use that in conjunction with some of these other blocks, and you can start making meals. So you can make like algae soy product, there's a tofu product, and with the seeds you can actually grow vegetables, and with the vegetables you get a higher level of nutrition, so you can actually, your food bar fills up further. And with the water, it doesn't really matter. Now, one of the benefits of this thing is that if you have a chair, let's see if we have, I think we put some desks in here. Yes we did. Okay. So if you go into one of these seats, open up the command, and you say add the word noms, when you sit down in the chair, you'll actually eat and drink if you are below the threshold required to trigger the action. Now, you can also do this with just by standing, but if you do it in a chair, as you can see that in the bar has now, for liquid, gone over 100%, right? So it goes up to 125. If you are using a bed and you give it a couple of seconds, don't touch anything, you'll notice that there is now a bonus of 25 on your tiredness, or your fatigue level. Now, what will happen is, as long as you stay above the 100% mark, when you go to sit down in a chair, you'll recover some of your fatigue up to that new maximum. If it goes below 100, sitting in a chair will only bring you back to the 100. So if you sit down in a seat with food and drink, you will get a larger benefit than if you just stand there and eat and drink. So adds a little bit of an actual survival element to the game. And it's, like I said, it's not as annoying as some of the older mods were about how fast the consumption was. It's like, yeah, you were able to produce the food and drink in ridiculous quantity, but you went through it in a ridiculous quantity. And I'm liking the balance on this one so far. Now, one of the things that I do like about it is that the different food elements, the different food and drink elements, provide different amounts of food and drink returns for the per item consumed. That ratio and that rate of consumption and return is what makes or breaks a survival mod. And this one, if you're looking for, something that works fairly well, and I don't want to say is easy to deal with, but definitely adds a survival aspect, that is one of the mods you're going to look for. And like I said, links for both RDAV's Fleet Manager 2 and the daily needs will be in the description down below. They'll be in the top section, basically as the highlight, and will be eventually moved down into the bottom section as we continue adding more mods. Okay, so all of that said and done. Oh, we've got this done, we've got that done, and whoop, I just fell into a small hole. Okay. One of the things that we've done is, because we've got our drones going out, and I'm not seeing any, I'll have to go check the status on those guys, but we have had some gold coming back, and we now have super components, or superconductors, which we're going to come over here and get all of this welded up, and we will finally have that last door online. It's only been, what, like a month and a half? Nothing too serious, right? Hey, look at that. We have all of our energy field doors in place now. Okay. Do I have any? No. I was hoping I had some building materials other than the superconductors. We're going to drop you in cargo 16, just because that's where most of my overflow stuff is now. And we'll grab a couple of those, and some of those. Alright. Oh, and one of the things that you will notice is, as you eat and drink, you produce waste. And so you'll end up with these containers. You drop those back into the network, and it gets processed through. The gray wastewater will become drinkable water, and then the organics get processed out into other stuff. Like, you can actually use this for I hate to use the comparison, because I'm sure everyone else uses it as well. Basically, if you are familiar with the old original Star Trek, they had the predecessor to the replicator system was a what was it called? It was a protein, like, recombiner or something like that. I don't remember what the actual terminology was, But basically, you used to have a giant on. If you ever look at the ship schematics for the old Enterprise and a lot of the Gen 1 Star Trek ships, they had what they called biomass tanks. Yeah, that's what was in it. Organic stuff. All sorts of organic stuff. So it's like when you start talking about the technology of Star Trek, just remember, they're eating poop. Not really, but you know. The idea was that it was gone. It went through a processing thing where it was turned from waste into biomass. The biomass was recycled into the food system. So, it's really nasty when you start thinking about exactly what technology is available in Star Trek. There's some really funny stuff in there. And we're just gonna drop this in here. And we are going to drop you over here. Now the water recycler should pull that automatically. Yeah. And so what you're seeing is that it's processing. It processed it into drink water packet and, you know, a little bit of organic. So, yeah. Anyway, that's how all that works. I'm really sad that that's not working because I was really hoping to be able to launch all of those. What I may do is rework these so that the bottom group, those LCDs move down like a block or so. And then we'll have a second row of them so that the upper group have one launch runway, and then the lower group have their own launch runway. That way we should in theory be able to deploy them all simultaneously. Alright. Okay, so I think that's... Oh, we're gonna go check those other drones, because commercial scavenger, you are one of the random encounter things. Because I think some of these were showing up. Maybe not. Oh. Nope, okay. Yeah, that's still working. That's good. 4 kilometers out and closing. Not a bad thing. Alright, so what does this mean for the series as it is right now? What I want to do, we're going to continue with this playthrough, right, on this save. I want to keep all of this going. We're going to make sure all of the AI are completely enabled, and we're going to check the spawn rates because, like I said, we haven't seen Reavers and we haven't seen the corruption AI. And I don't know if I've disabled them somehow or if there's maybe a conflict in the spawn table. So I'm going to go through and take a look at the files and make sure. I'll probably just clear them out and reinstall the mods. It may also be because of the way that priority is set up in the load that it's causing problems. I don't know, but I would like to have the other AIs showing up. I want to have, it's not so much that I guess, yeah, I'm wanting more of a challenge than just having the Orks, because the Orks are brutal, but the shields are kind of game-breaking as far as the Orks are concerned. I mean, the Orks, obviously, you've seen them get through the shields. But the shields themselves, I think, are a little OP. So we'll probably keep the shields, but we're just going to make sure we have more hostile things with mod weapons and a bunch of other things coming in. So when we come back on Monday, we should actually have quite a bit new. I've been playing with some mods in a separate save, just checking out some new things. One of them is a weapons rebalance mod, which also adds a bunch of weapons. So I'll be probably bringing that online. Like I said, we're going to make sure that we have all of our hostile AI enabled. I've actually found a couple of folks have left comments on the last few videos talking about new mods and things to add to the playthrough. And I've been playing around with some of them, And I really like the way some of this is coming together. So yeah, I'm probably going to be adding a lot more as far as like combat style mods to the game. Make sure you are working. I have to say, man, our dev did an amazing job on these, on all of these drones and AI systems. It is absolutely nuts how well these things work. I mean, look at that. Now let's see if he gets stuck in the too close thing. Nope, looks good. Boop. Awesome. So yeah, anyway, a bit of a different thing. You know, we did a lot more talking about what's going on and a lot less building this time around, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun hanging out with y'all and talking about what's going on, giving you a little glimpse of what we're hoping to do in the near future. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy around here for the next week or so, because, well, this weekend I will be adding a bunch more mods to the mix. We'll be bringing in a whole lot of really big mean things, and I have a feeling that it's going to turn into a bit more of a run and gun. Just kind of expecting a lot of interesting things to happen, and now that we have things like the daily needs added, it is becoming a proper hardcore survival. Anyway, on that note, I am going to thank you all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw those down in the section below. If you're new to the channel, haven't done so already, just want to do something nice for me on this lovely Friday, be sure to hit that subscribe for those who are in an area to do so. Hopefully you are going to be able to enjoy your Halloween. For those who are not, well, you know, there's plenty of candy at the store. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy your weekend. And like I said, for those who are able to celebrate, happy Halloween. For everybody else, hope you have a fantastic Friday. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Alright, so now we get to go look at RDAV's programming and see if we can figure out how to separate the identifiers for the carrier ships and the command centers. This should be interesting. Oh.